Hi everybody, I'm Maria and this is my husband Craig. We have a website at mariamindbodyhealth.com, or you can find us at Maria Emmerich on YouTube. And the purpose of this is we want to teach you all of the secrets that we know about how to be properly keto. Keto is getting so popular. There's a lot of bad misinformation out there, and from me doing it for the last 2 decades, I want to teach you all the mistakes that I did so you don't have to go through them. I wish I would have known about the keto flu. I wish I would have known about how to get rid of that. And so that's what we're all about. We want to help you and give you all of these tools and tips for free just because that's how we roll. We are lucky enough to be in Maui at the time. But we want to start off with, how did all the fats get touted as being bad, right?
Exactly. And so, a lot of people, the majority of the country since the 70s has thought of, fat is bad. You don't want any fat. You want to do fat-free products and all this stuff. Well, if you actually, there's a lot of information that even just recently is coming out that showed that in the 70s, the sugar industry, they knew there's corollaries to tobacco industry. They knew their product was hurting people. They knew that sugar was one of the leading causes of coronary artery disease or heart disease. So they wanted to take the blame off of themselves and put it on something else. And we talk about that in the first chapter of our book, Keto. But I want to read a quote from it. It is really true that the food companies deliberately set out to manipulate research in their favor. Yes, it is, and the practice continues today. So there are documents that have been uncovered, and even some more recently that show that the sugar industry put money into creating studies that looked for some small link between fat and coronary artery disease so that the blame would be put on fat and not sugar. And as a result, we've had 50, 60 years of following this failed advice, and it's been disastrous for the health of our country.
Absolutely. So should we dive into what is keto?
Yeah, so that was what happened, right? And that got us to this place. And so now, keto's gotten really popular, and a lot of that has to do with the healing powers, which we'll cover in a later video. But keto's been around a lot longer than that. It's becoming popular now, but if you really think about it, humans wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the ketogenic state. Go back to our paleo ancestors. They hunted and gathered, and they didn't have grocery stores. So, sometimes there wasn't food. In the winter months, it was very lean, and so they had a lot of extended periods of fasting, and if they weren't able to switch their body into burning the stored body fat as the primary fuel, they would have died. They would have run out of sugar.
Even
glucose.
babies that are breastfed, they are in ketosis because that breast milk is primarily fat and cholesterol. And we will talk on cholesterol in a whole nother series.
Yeah,
we might need an hour for that one.
There's a great chart in here too that shows even just a baby, even if the baby isn't on breast milk, let's say formula, that is pretty bad to begin with all the corn syrup in it, but let's say they are, even in that state, within 1.5 to 2 hours of not eating, that baby has ketones of 1.0, so a strong ketogenic state. The younger you are, the quicker you end up in this state.
Yeah, so especially after a night.
Yeah.
Especially after going a whole night without eating, a child is going to be in ketosis.
Yep, exactly. And so what is ketosis? Well, ketosis is when you don't have enough carbohydrates to fuel your body runs out of carbohydrates and starts looking for another fuel. What's the other fuel it can use? Fat. And so it switches your body to being primarily burning fat for fuel. And this has a lot of ramifications. We talk about in the book about there's different stages of ketosis. You will start showing high elevated blood ketones within a day or two, or maybe 3 days of cutting your carbs down to maybe 20 grams of carbs a day. But you won't still get that, what everybody talks about with keto, which is the
awesome
amazing feeling, the increased moods, mental clarity, energy through the roof. You won't see that quite yet.
But
it takes a little longer because your body needs to make more mitochondria to become a real, true fat burner.
so should we be testing with urine strips after
So-
3 days?
That is another thing, a lot of people ask, how do I know I'm in ketosis? So you can test with blood strips, urine strips, or breath testers. They're all a little different. The urine strips, usually that's wasting of ketones. So that what happens there is in the first few days, your body's not efficient at using the ketones it's producing, and so you dump them out through the urine. After you get into ketosis, it stops doing that because it's using them for fuel.
And so you'll be disappointed because you're like, I'm not producing any ketones, but
Anymore,
yeah,
but
those are pretty inaccurate.
Pretty inaccurate. Blood and breath testers are pretty good, but also we don't want to get into the trap where we start chasing ketones. So you could, as you get in deeper ketosis, the longer you've been in ketosis, you'll actually see blood ketones maybe on the lower end, 0.4, 0.3,
Mine are low.
0.5, because you're using them more efficiently and you're not producing as many ketones in the blood.
I've been doing keto for about 2 decades now, and I work out in a fasted state. So in the morning, checking ketones, they're going to be really, really low. And that's not because I'm not producing any. It's because I'm using them for my morning jog. I run in a fasted state. As soon as I stop and rest, they're going to rise back up again. But that's why I'm not concerned about checking my ketones, chasing ketones, because I know I'm in ketosis because I feel fantastic.
Yeah, and there's no correlation at all of higher blood ketone levels to better results. There's no correlation. So there's no reason to really chase that. In general, we usually tell clients just go by how you feel.
Yeah.
Is your energy way up? Is your mood great? You're in ketosis.
I'm a minimalist. I don't like gadgets. This is the gadget guy. So I'm all
even
about...
I don't think you need them. So. But so what does it look like? Typically what we have people do is about 20 grams or less total carbs.
How many do you think we get in a day? Maybe like 10 grams total?
10, 15,
We
depending
joke that
if
we're
you-
carnivores.
Yeah, we're more on the carnivore side
Again,
most
being
days.
a minimalist, we don't like to count.
Yeah.
So we'd rather not have to count those carbohydrates.
And then the next thing you want to make sure you do is hit your protein goal.
You want to build
You
muscle.
don't want to lose lean mass. That's super critical, especially as you age. You want to be strong. To preserve your lean mass, you got to hit your protein number. Going under is bad. You can lose lean mass over time. Going over, not as big of a deal. You have to go way over, and we'll talk about this in the myths video coming up, to really cause any issues.
We're not recommending high protein.
Yeah, it's moderate. And in the book, we talk about exactly how you can calculate.
Everybody's different. How
your
much muscle mass
protein
you got?
you need,
Everybody's
yeah.
different.
For a 5'3" or 5'2" woman, it's going to be lower than a 6' man.
Yeah.
So you can calculate that pretty easily. And then fat becomes this only variable, right? Because you got to hit the protein, keep the carbs under 20. Now you got fat as
Your lever.
kind of a lever, right?
And you want to change that lever depending on your goal. And that's why when we work with clients, my first question is, okay, Barbara, okay, Sally, okay, Kurt, what is your goal? Is it building muscle? Is it losing weight? Is it getting off medication? Is it controlling cancer, epilepsy, seizures? That's all going to make me determine how this lever goes for you. If it's weight loss, we're going to turn that lever down because we want to use our body fat for fuel and making ketones.
Yeah, when you're keto adapted, your body can use dietary fat and body fat equally. Doesn't really care too much. It can use either one. If you want to lose fat off your body, you want it using more of that body fat, not in the diet.
And that's why we don't say bulletproof coffee is bad, but if you want to lose weight, it's diminishing your goals because you keep fueling your body with those external dietary fats. You don't have to go through the hard process of using your own body fat for fuel. And I love to eat. I like to chew my calories. I'm not going to drink them. So chewing is much more satisfactory to those brain neurotransmitters, which we could talk a whole nother class. Oh my gosh, we're going to have so many videos.
So and that's ketosis. That's how you get in ketosis and stay in it, and see all the healing benefits and all the wonderful things that can come from it. And so, that's in it in a nutshell.
Yeah.
We have a lot of great videos coming where we'll take deeper dives in some of these things. We'll dive deeper into fat flux and oxidative
You know what they should
priority.
do? They should leave a comment below and
Yes.
tell us what videos you want us to do. We will cover
Exactly.
anything. We'll talk about how we vacation and eat keto. Let us know. We'll cover it because we love helping. We want you guys to succeed. We don't want you to waste your time like in the mistakes that we did forever. And if you do want to learn faster, check out Keto,
We'll
the
have
book.
a link in the
Yeah.
notes.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Check you later.